Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to 3 Year Survival. So what I'm going to do today is I have an AR10 and I'm going to spray paint it. I'm going to rattle can it. As a matter of fact, you could actually get these cans relatively cheap on Amazon if you want. I'll put the links down below. You could also go to your hardware store. It has a lot of flat colors, specifically military and or hunting. Rust-Oleum makes them, so it's really nice. All right, so you can rattle can all you want. Also, if you wanted to, you can get these stencils. These are Digicam stencils. They're just stickers. You put them on there. You can use any type of foliage if you want. They also come with a bunch of different digital cam type stencils. So I'm going to try to use that. I've never used the stencils. When I was in the United States Marine Corps and I was with the Scout Snipers, what we did is we took our M40A1s. Yeah, M40A1s. That's how old I am. It's just a basically beefed up Remington 700 deer gun. And we would spray paint them and we would use the foliage in the area to try to camouflage not only us, but also camouflage our guns. And we used a lot of spray paint. Now again, spray paint will come off, and obviously you don't want to put spray paint in the optics. So all the optics were removed. I took apart my gun because I am not allowed to show you on the internet, as far as YouTube goes, how to take apart a gun. I am not modifying it anyway. I am just not taking it as a whole and just running spray cans around it. Now, if I can take it apart and save some filing or sanding because there's too much paint in between the holes, I'm going to do that. So that's what I did. I have a little bit of time now and I'm going to show you what it looks like taken apart. All right guys, so this is my bench. All of this right here is actually a gun. I know it's hard to see. So I did take off the foregrip. All right, this is the foregrip for my AR10. And what I had done is, again, stripped all the pieces, all the parts off. It's just an aluminum forend. And then what I did is I hit it with acetone. I hit it with acetone. You could also scuff this up if you want to, just to give the paint a little bit more to stick to. So I acetoned this, I cleaned it up, and then I hit it with an air hose just to get all the lint and stuff out. This is not the best piece of equipment. It's already used, it's already beat up, so I don't care. I took the lower apart, okay? This is an Anderson lower, all right? And with the Anderson lower, I took everything off that I could, all right? I took the grip off. I could even take the trigger out if I wanted to. I'm gonna replace the trigger anyway, so I really don't care. I don't want to show you any serial numbers there, but I do have the Palmetto State Armory. And what I'm going to do is just paint this as is. Again, I have another stock that's going to be put on there, so it's one less thing that I have to paint. As far as the upper receiver goes, all right, I'm not really sure. I don't think this is an Anderson upper receiver. This is a little bit bulkier, but it does have the charging handle. It does have the forward assist. You don't really need it, but it's in there. What I did is I made sure that I taped all the inside. You don't want to get any paint on the inside itself. I also don't want to get paint inside the barrel. A lot of guys, when they paint this, they paint it with the handguard on there, and that's fine if you want to, but what I find is when you shoot it a lot, you wind up burning the paint off. So what I'm going to try to do is just leave the original finish on the barrel itself and just paint the outside. Again, as you can see, this was already painted once in a gray type of finish. Again, I didn't do that. I purchased this used, so I'm just trying to make it all color coordinated. All right, a couple things that you're going to need other than taking the whole gun apart. Some type of hanger system. All right, these are just clothes hangers, and what I did is kind of find a place where I can hang this sucker up and let it dry. You're gonna have to do multiple passes with the paint, so make sure that you are in an outside environment, or like I have my garage here and all the windows and doors are open. I also have fans going, and I also have a mask, so I'm gonna be wearing a mask. And then once all the paint is out, I'll let it dry, I'll let it cook. Also, it's a little chilly in here, so I will start up the heater to ensure that it starts that baking process. All right, so again, let me start hanging this stuff up and then we'll get to it. All right guys, so I have the fans off for now so I can talk, but as you can see, I'm just hanging them out in the open air. Those fans will be on just so everything gets blown out. I'm in my shop, nobody's home, so it's gonna smell a little bad, so I'm gonna put a respirator on. But the first thing I wanna do is I kinda wanna give it a base primer. All right, the base primer could be any color you want. Just remember, it's going to be light. So whatever color you want, I typically tend to make it a little bit lighter and then go darker as I start putting on the stencils and everything else. It just makes for a better contrast, in my opinion. All right, so I go with the light colors first, and then I put the dark colors on over it, and it kind of puts everything together. All right, so we're going to try that. Alright guys, so I let it dry for about a couple hours. These are stencils. You can get different types of stencils. These are all kind of different sizes. But what you need to remember is that anything that you put on here is going to stay now. So if I put a stencil here, it's going to stay. So what I'm trying to do is find the largest part of what's going to stay and then find a stencil that may work. Alright, this one right here looks pretty good. I'll see if I can peel it off without breaking it. Alright, it's just a very, very simple stencil. And I'll put it on like that. Alright, and what you want with your stencils is to ensure that it sticks on there, alright, without moving. Because if it moves and you try to peel it off, it's going to be a problem. Alright, now again, some of these stickers are probably not the best, but you just want to get them on there as good as possible. I'm going to put one on the other side, see if I can find another sticker, something that's a little bit more flat, a little bit smaller. Right, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but it does help. There are different sizes that you can get. You might have to heat up the metal a little bit just to dry it out. Take a look at that. Alright, so these are just regular stencils that I threw on there. And again, there's not a lot of space for all these stencils. There's just not. Alright, so you just do the best you can. It would be great if it was a little warmer in here, but what I did is I just put the stencils on there. And this is going to be the next coat. Alright, so I started with a really light sand. Now I'm going to use a really light or olive green. So this says foliage green. All right, it's more of a gray, and then the last one I'm going to do is more of a coyote. All right, because I want to keep this in a very neutral forested area, so I don't want to have colors that like black that kind of stick out. You could have accents of black, but I don't want to have just black. And again, I'm going to put the fans back on. And the stickers aren't staying on too great right now, but we're going to see how it works. Again, once this is all together, I'll put the heat back on, and then it'll dry really nicely. Alright guys, so now that you can see it's mostly green, some of the stencils are moving around a little bit. That's okay. Again, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to have to decide on how you want this to look or how you want it to set up. Again, because it's cold, I'm going to have to turn the heater on once. I have an open flame heater in here, so while I am spraying, it's off. Okay, I just want to remind you, please do not set your house on fire. Again, so I have some stencils. We already went with the light color, super light color. Now we went with like an off forest green, and now we're going to go with a little bit of a darker color, but I'm going to add more stencils. All right, so again, and I know someone's going to ask, you know, who created these stencils. It is Duracoat. Duracoat is the company that makes these stencils. I don't know if you can see that right there. So Duracoat. I don't know if they still come with them. I have no idea. These are just laminate stencils that you can purchase. Again, I'm just taking off a couple of really nice lightweight stencils, and I'm going to adhere them again to a different part. I don't know if I could put this down because I want to encapsulate that. All right, so I got that on there. All right. Alright, so my last base coat is going to be a little bit darker tan. I know it probably won't show up here, but as you can see, I'm just layering the stencils. They're not sticking all too well. I wish it was a little bit warmer. It would probably work a little better, but again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to break up the outline. So again, I'm going to do one more coat on all of these, then I'm just going to shut everything off, and once make sure all the paint is out of here, and then I'm going to start up the heater, and I'm going to let this sit overnight so it bakes into the steel. Alright guys, so again, this was the last coat, and I do have the heater on, so it's going to be a little warmer in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start peeling off all of this. All right, there will be some touch-ups that need to happen, but that's okay. So I'm just going to start very, very gently peeling off what needs to be peeled off, and if I got to touch up, I'll touch up a little bit. Alright guys, so this is day 2. So for the most part, it looks really, really good. Again, Digicam is subjective. Some people like it, some people do not. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit more accents on there, and this is what I call a negative, or a negative type of stencil. Alright, the hole's already cut out. So we started with the positive, which was the actual stencils that you stick on, and they are laminate. Both of them will work, but now I can actually look at the gun and say, all right, this part over here I want to put a different stencil, and then what I'll do is I'll tape it on here and tape the rest of the gun and add onto it. All right, to each his own. If you want to continue on with the digital, I did put the heater on because, man, it's freaking cold. It's about 16 degrees. Again, inside the shop, it doesn't work very well. But again, just want to give you guys a little bit of an idea what that looks like. So I'm going to use some negative stenciling. I'll show you this one too, because this one looks pretty good. All right, again, a little bit of stenciling. Now that it's all nice and dry, I had a full day cure. All right, really nice. And again, on the, all right, so on the rail's kind of hard because there's a lot of holes in it, so it's very hard to see. But I did try to do the best that I could. So we'll try some stenciling, see how that works. Alright guys, so just to show you how creative you can be when putting on patterns. Alright, I just went to the hardware store and I just picked up a couple things. You don't have to be super conservative when it comes to putting patterns on your guns. The only thing you want to do is try to break up the patterning that's just a big black line. A big black line in the forest is very easily seen. Regardless of how camouflaged you are, as you can see this big black shirt, you can see it. So what I did is I just grabbed a couple things off the shelf to kind of give you an idea, and it's super cheap. All right, so there's some things in here like this was at the dollar store. It's a multi-purpose placemat. All right, I think it was $1.99. It's called grip linen. All right, you can find these in any Walmart or any 5 and dime. I don't even know if they have 5 and dimes anymore. But what's good about this is you can see the mesh pattern in there. All right. So again, a lot of people use laundry bags, and that's absolutely fine. You could use laundry bags. They didn't have laundry bags. I was trying to get one. They didn't have the ones that I wanted. But this has a very, very square open mesh. And if I put that over the gun and spray paint over it, it would work very well. They didn't have a laundry bag, so I got this. This is called Gutter Guard. You can get these at Home Depot or Lowe's. And just to give you an idea, these are more of a diamond pattern. Can you see the diamond pattern right there? All right, so if you wanted more of a diamond or like snake skin, you can use that. Or a laundry bag would definitely work. All right, something as simple as a mop or wet mop. All right, you don't have to use natural foliage. If that's all you have, then use that, but you can use this. You lay it right over your weapon, and then you just open it up a little bit and you just spray lines. That's all you have to do. And I think this was like $3. Just a regular sponge, all right? A big sponge with a lot of different holes in it. You could spray paint on here and then just blot what you're trying to do, and that will work as well. Again, these are like $3, $4 items. If you're really interested in camoing your gun, you just have to break up what you have and make it a little bit harder to see in the forest. And again, if you ever look in the forest or the mountains or the jungle, things do not run in straight black lines. They're all different colors. There are light colors, dark colors, greens, all that kind of stuff. There's not a lot of blues and blacks, all right? Blue meaning the water, yeah, great, but unless you're going to be in the water 90% of the time, there's not a lot of that, and there's definitely not a lot of blacks. The only blacks that you're going to see are man-made or some type of shadow, all right? So try to use browns, try to use greens, whites for the snow time or alpine is fantastic. Light browns, that kind of thing, light greens, all works great. All right, so like I said, what I did was with the negative. So I used a lot of negative type of stencils. Again, you don't have to, do whatever you feel is best. I wanted to add in some dark accents, and the dark accents that I used are dark brown. Again, not black, but brown. I think it'll contrast really nicely, so I'm just peeling off. Again, I let this sit in the inside the warm garage. I have the heat on in here, so it's really nice and toasty, and just so it cures really, really nicely. So again, I don't have to be an absolute artist, all right, but I did add a little bit of dark browns. The only thing I did realize is that if you double up on a lot of the paint, it starts to crack a little bit. So I had stencil, and there's a little crack on there. Again, I'm not really worried about it. It's going to be an outdoor gun, so there's going to be plenty of time to mess around with it. And I'll show you on the front. Again, this is the dust cover, so that dust cover is going to fall down anyway. You're not going to see it. But I did put a little accent on top here as well. All right, guys, so here she is. I hope you appreciate all the work that I put in. It took quite a bit of time to put this together because it was cold. I wound up doing a lot of things that I needed to inside. 16 degrees out here, guys. Paint's not going to dry. Here's the other side of it. I did do a lot of patchwork and touch-ups. It is not Cerakote, it is rattle can. All right, so if it's rattle can, you get what you get. You get some Rust-Oleum or Krylon, that's all you get. The only thing I did was I put some new grips on there. So I got the Hogue overmold grips. These things are super comfortable, and it came in a set. So I replaced this. All right, this is an adjustable stock. Yeah, it's a little bit stiff, but that's okay. I want it stiff. I want to make sure that it's not rattling. The grip itself is fantastic. Function test, it works. All right. So again, this was a Palmetto State 308 AR10 in the DPMS style. And I stripped it down as much as I could, and I used some rattle can, and I used stencils in order to make it look the way that it looks now. All right, so I hope you guys appreciated that. What I need you guys to do is to like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff for me. If you like videos like this and want to see more gun content, just put that in the video, put that in the comments down below. I really appreciate it. Guys, happy holiday. New Year's is right here. It's right around the corner. I wanted to do something for you guys for New Year's, and I hope you appreciate all the hard work. And thank you very much for supporting me. All you have to do, if you want to do it free, is like, subscribe, share. If you want to become a Patreon member, it only costs you $1 a month. Go over to Patreon. I'll put the links down below. You get to watch videos like this before anybody else. Thank you very much, guys. Have a happy and safe New Year. Looking forward to 2025.